Hi, I'm Lel from Made by Marley. I am a furniture artist. Today I am going to be making over yet another £5 table. I keep finding them and trying to turn them into something amazing. So today I've used one of our own Made by Marley stencils, Rock the Casbah, and this is what I've made. Okay, this looks like a totally boring piece of furniture, but it's a cute piece of furniture. I was going into the charity shop in Jedburgh, which is just a tiny little charity shop run by some women. It's not a big charity shop, you know, it's not a chain of them. And the women in there are always nice. And I was in looking for some fabric, and this was sitting outside. They don't do furniture, and it just had a little sign on it that said donation. And I was like, oh, so you just give a donation for the piece of furniture? And I said, would you take £5? She went, done. So I got it for a fiver. I like the style of it. It's not a huge real estate to do a design on, but just enough if you want to hone your skills. And sometimes I keep saying to people, don't start big, start small. And bedside cabinets and small things like this.
It's a good sized piece because it's kind of like an accent piece, shall we say? You know, like you've plenty of room around the home for something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what? thanks for that. Gee, well, thanks, Martin.
Rather than a massive piece of furniture, you know.
Yeah, but I'm talking about homing skills.
Yes.
Yes, they're good for little parts of your house, and they sell quite well, little things like this. But just for homing your skills, it's a good thing to be doing it on this sort of size. What am I going to be doing today? I'm going to be using a very earthy sort of palette, and I'll run through the colours in a minute. And I'm going to be using the Made by Marley Rock the Casbah stencil. So this is going to be done with one stencil, one of our stencils, no other stencils, just the one set, and I'm going to do the whole table with it, which quite easily be able to do that with one stencil. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paint it all Oxford Navy. And really, what else do I have to say? Let's just have a quick look at colours. So this is the Rock the Casbah stencil. Let's just run through what you get in this. I've obviously cut mine all up because that's how I roll. You get this lovely windowy one. This one is nice. Borders, and some stars. That's what's in that set. So let's get started with the colours, and I can show you the sort of colours I'm thinking of. So I'm going to be starting with Oxford Navy. It's going to set the scene, so we know that that's a really dark navy blue. Then I'm going to be using Primer Red, Paprika, Cornflower, Tilton, and Barcelona Orange. There's the earthy tones, but I think because I'm starting with a dark blue, I might put a little pop of Provence in it. So that's the colours for today. Yeah, that's what we're going to be using. But before we start, let's get this done in navy. Now, I'm going to get Matt to take the handle off it in a minute, but I'm just going to get going so you can see what colour it's going to be. So I'm going to give this 2 coats, this little table, 2 coats of this lovely navy, and it should fix some of the problems that it's got, because it's got quite a lot of issues. But that's not to say that we can't do something with it. So 2 nice coats of this lovely navy blue, and then we'll come back and we'll start working on the pattern. You can see how much bashes and chips it's had in the legs, but by the time we're done with it, you're not going to notice any of that. So I'm going to get on, paint this 2 lovely coats of this navy, and I'll be back. Okay, so it's had 2 good coats of Oxford Navy, and what we're going to do now, today I'm not going to be using any paint. Well, I'm going to be using brushes later on, but at the moment I'm just going to be colouring this table with rollers. So on my palette down here, I have the Cornflower, the Primer Red, the Barcelona Orange, and the Tilton. I should have spread them out a little bit. I didn't think about that. And a myriad of rollers in varying states of decay, but they all work just well. I don't need stencil brushes right now. Over here, I've still got the Paprika, the Oxford Navy I originally painted it with, and the jury's out on the Provence as yet. And there is going to be a whole heap of gold on this piece. Yes, I did say gold. Can't quite make up my mind right now whether I'm going to make the gold or we'll gold leaf it, but there's going to be gold on it because it's a small table. We want it to be wowsy. I did paint the back of this. I don't normally, with big pieces of furniture, paint the back unless they've had water damage or mildew, or there's something not right about them that they need cleaned and painted. doesn't happen very often, but because this is a small piece, I generally paint the backs of little tables just because you can't tell which way this is going to get delivered or dropped off, so it just looks nicer that way. Right, how are we going to do this? Well, today I've just said to Martin, I'm just going to have a whole load of fun. What we're doing is we're setting the seed for the stencils. It will look awful. You'll probably like, oh, no, 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 no. But it will all work out just grand. So you just need a roller for all your colours, really. In fact, you know me, I'll just start using the same one all over again. But and you're just going to start putting colour on it everywhere. I can tell this is maybe going to be a messy one. Kind of spread them out, but also if you've got kind of reds here, keep that red. Yeah, keep that sort of red appeal. Is it appealing? I don't know. It's probably not right now. If you're new to my channel, you just have to stick with this process, and that's what trust is about. It's about trusting what you're doing is going to be good. And I'm going to take some of the yellow. Ooh. And back to the brown because I don't want that too yellowy. And really, I mean, what you see is what you get here. You're just going to do the table all over with this sort of, all these different colours. And the reason why I'm using rollers and not paintbrushes to do this is because it gives it a completely different texture that is nicer than, well, it just makes it more texture. Now, you don't want to end up looking too mottled. I've got to say that. So with the likes of here, I'm going to take that orange line down the bottom there so that that's less mottled. Quite like this area here, but I want a wee bit more orange in here. So let's just do that. Some yellow up in here. This way I'm keeping quite a lot of the navy underneath, and I'm still being able to distribute colours in the way that I think I want them. And the whole table, pretty much, before we to get to any stenciling, is going to be done pretty much like this. Now, it might have a wash over it to fade it back, or I'm not quite sure. It might just work without it. I don't know. There's a whole load of mental gymnastics going on in my brain right now. I can probably show you a little bit better if I get up on my knees a minute, and I'll change my roller to a bigger roller. So let's go for this one here. So yellow. Brown. If you think it's getting too rory, because remember we're using our earthy colours, rory just means a little bit too bright. And in your face, just add the brown over the top of it. And you can go as much or as many times as you want over the top of this table until you've got something. Like, I don't particularly want those dots in there, so let's try and get rid of that. I once done something like this a number of years ago, and it was from a woman in Ireland who wanted to buy it, but at the time with Brexit I couldn't ship furniture, and she said if she ever got to the UK she would buy a piece, and she did. She came over with her husband to watch the rugby, and we shipped it to their Airbnb in Wales, was it, Maren?
They were getting the ferry over. They were getting the ferry over, weren't they?
They had a car that they could put it in, yeah. You know, a truck. But yeah, so she waited all that time until she eventually got to the UK and then ordered it in advance, and I did something like this for her.
I think that's how her husband got to go to the rugby, basically.
I think it probably was.
You can go to the rugby if.
And we just had it shipped there, and it all worked out really nice, and she was absolutely thrilled. So she ended up getting her piece of furniture after all, but sometimes it's a struggle getting. I can actually ship probably.
Well, we can ship anywhere.
Well, we can ship anywhere now. We do ship to the States. Well, anywhere really, but It's actually easier shipping to the EU. I could probably ship something easier to France than I could to Ireland. Ireland's tricky, Matty, isn't it?
Ireland is tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's easier actually to ship to America than it is to Ireland at the moment.
But so if you ever see anything that you think, we can ship, and you just need to email Martin for a cost for the shipping, we've got shipping deals that enable us to get things across the water to you. So, and Martin's getting into building crates to put them in. Now, I'm trying to kind of formulate a sort of kind of stripe on the top. It may help or may not when I go to do the stenciling on top. Who knows? You notice I'm not doing this rim. I'm not doing that right now because I'm not sure where we're going with this. So I really like the top. Isn't the top interesting, Martin? So I'm not going to labour it anymore. I'm just going to go away and do the whole table. I'm not going to waste anybody's time. And then that way I can come back when it's dry and we can start thinking about pattern. Okay? Right, we're going to build this table up in layers. Okay, so we know that our navy was our base. So whatever your base is, to do your detail before you put all the pattern on, you need to go back to your base. So I've got my base colour down here and I've got it on cardboard because it is easier to stencil if you use a mix mat. Your brush just slips around on it, so that's no good. And for the base, you're going to need a reasonably big sized brush. So I think I'm going to alternate between these two. So using the stencil, I'm just kind of formulating a plan of how I want this to be. So if I do up here, I want to mark it just to give myself some rough guide. Oh, this is gold. Never mind. As long as it works, it's okay. Right, so I want that there because this is the pattern that's going to go down this side. You don't need to be stuck using a stencil in the way that the stencil is. You can use it whatever way you want. I'm putting some tacky spray on this. I'm being very professional today. I just sprayed that over my tea. I'll also be drinking tacky spray. So, stencil brush, a little bit on your paint and then offload it. Yeah. I think I need a little bit more than that. Sometimes the first. I'm going to actually have to move this back till it can slip no more. Sorry, Matty. It just gives it more purchase. Now this shape is going to go down here. So you're measuring up with your gold lines again. Making sure your gold lines are reasonably straight. It's all about, I mean, I'm not normally one for measuring, but why not? And we're just going to work our way. All the legs are going to be done like this. It's kind of fiddly, but it'll give it a good look. I just want to do a bit more just so you can see how suddenly all the distress that we put on top when you start stenciling it makes sense. And that's why I say you have to trust your process, because if you fall at the first hurdle and you play it safe, it won't have the same look. It's good because where it hits the navy, it'll look like it's faded. And I'll show you that in a minute because I think there's a bit more navy up in the drawer. Right, so you know what I'm going to be doing with the legs. The legs are all going to have this pattern, yeah? You can be really smart and you can... I should have did that leg, Martin, shouldn't I?
That's right.
You can flip it round this way if you want, but it's still wet and we'll come back and do details like that. I am going to be using... Now, what did I think? I think this one here, I'm going to be using this one in the drawer because it fits quite nicely. And there's navy on this drawer, so I'll show you how it looks when it gets a bit distressed. I didn't sticky tacky spray this one. I'm not going anywhere with it. No. Oop. That here, and let's just line that up here. I made a mistake already. when we took that handle off the drawer, it wasn't the original handle, so it's got a big hole in it now. So whatever I find, I need to find something that'll either cover it or go into it. I'm thinking maybe a tassel mat. Remember the tassels we bought in Carlisle?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking that might just finish it off just delightfully. So this is going to go across here like this. And stenciling, there's no dark magic to it. It's just making sure that you kind of line things up. I'm not the best at lining them up, to be honest with you, but I'll get there in the end. So everywhere, I was going to quote the Lion King there and say everywhere the light touches belongs to you, Simba, but that's not, you don't need a Lion King reference this early in the day. I think you understand what I'm doing. Let me just finish this and we can talk about it. By doing things like this, when I come along with a colour, that setback, where it's hit the navy, where it's navy, it looks like it's worn because you've got the navy on the navy and it almost looks black, but it's navy. It's just the colours that it's gone on top of. Because that means when we come across and do this over the top of that, you're going to have the pattern from underneath. And it's going to look cool on the back, but it's going to look impressive on the front because it's on the back layer will look really good and it'll become quite impressive because you're going to be putting the top layer of stenciling over the top of it. This is similar kind of to the Indian furniture that I do, but different, if you know what I mean, because we're doing a different process. And all these processes I just made up, but I did it by looking at Indian predominantly when I first started. In fact, I was laughing when I started the video because I painted this 2 coats of blue and I said to Martin, this is reminiscent of when I first started, because I did the same as everybody else because I thought you're supposed to paint your furniture with 2 coats of good quality furniture paint, and I did that, and then I transfer. And I realised that when I looked at my furniture, it looked like everybody else's. I didn't like it. I've always been a little bit different with the stuff I've got, but if you look back to when I started, I did play it incredibly safe. But then I started to find my own way of painting furniture and my own vibe. And I'm teaching you guys to do something that I just kind of worked out and played with the paint. And if you go away and play with the paint, you might find, oh, that worked. I'm going to try that the next time. But this sort of vibe is all about holding your nerve. You have to hold your nerve. You think, oh God, is this all going to come together? But it really will. So I'm going to get on. I'm going to do all of the legs. I'm going to do the insides of the legs and the side of the legs and that side of the legs with this star stencil on the edge. This one will be the last that I use it on there. I won't be using that one in there. On the sides, let's just flip to a side just so you don't... Obviously, if you're doing stenciling and dry brushing and things like that, you need a bucket of water to put everything in. Let's just flip this to the side a minute. Oh gosh, I'm spilling my coffee. Hang on a minute. Right, okay. So now I have to look at what I want on the background for here. But I don't want it too obvious. This was maybe a safe choice doing this. No, don't want that there. I think, where's the star I just had? Here it is. I think we'll do the star along here. Again, I'm going to put a little line on this where I want it to go so you can see it's halfway there. So get your pen, whatever I did with it. Here it is. It's just ways to keep yourself right. Not really much there I can draw, but I can go by that one there. Lid back on. I am going to use tacky spray. It just makes it a little bit easier, especially when you've got quite a lot to do. And line up my gold lines again. Right, okay, so this is what's going to go in the side ones. I'm just kind of giving you an idea because when you come back it'll all be done. I'm going to do this because I'm going to have to work something out for the front, for the middle, not the front. And that's the thing about this. You just have to play around with them. Look at your stencils, pick a different shape out your stencils, use them differently. One pack of stencils should be able to do so many different parts of furniture because you're just looking at them and wondering what you can do with them. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make this one a little bit higher. Yeah, I think that's more where I want to be. And when I use the stencils, I'm twirling them like this, gently. The bridges on Made by Marley Stencils, because you've got all the detail, you have to treat them gently. They're not like the great big aperture stencils. You'll just break the bridges if you're too rough with them. You have to go gently round and round in a circle. And I don't tend to get bleed through because I'm showing you the way to do it. Right, okay, so you understand. And then we would be back to the other little one. Was it this one? I'm getting confused already. Yeah, this one, yeah, back to this one. And I've still got the mark. Yeah, that's the mark from the last time. So I can just start and go back down it again. So I'm going to get on and do that. I'll probably do this round the edges at the top and this straight along the middle. And then we'll have it all. Oh, there's a bit here I haven't rollered. And then we'll come back and we'll start doing the design. Okay, so I went away and did what I said I was going to do. So this is where we kind of left off, but the whole table has been done now. And I also, with this one here, I did the whole of the top. Now it looks a little bit excessive right now and we're going to have to knock a lot of that back. And I just went a little bit crazy, I think. I just went stenciling mad. I was enjoying the process and before I knew it, I'd done the whole tabletop. So I was like, oh, well, okay. So now we're going to do the infills and we're using the paprika, which that's but new to our palette because we haven't used that yet. Now, I'm using this shape here. For the bottom, I want to turn it this way to do a border. So I'm using a border, part of a border to make a border. And that's why I'm saying Made by Marley Stencils, you need to look at them because you can do so many things with them because they're really, really quite intricate, which means that, you know, you can do like lots of different fiddly things because I've looked at them inside and out. So, you know, revisit any of your stencils. They don't have to be Made by Marley ones. Just look at them and go, like, what can I do? Because suddenly you can think, oh, well, I could put that on top of that, with that on top of that, and the weird look. People at the end will go, I don't know how she did that, or he did that. I mean, don't want to be discriminatory to the guys because the guys are just as good as the girls. Right.
Well, this guy's not as good as this girl, but
well, you know what?
I know the point you're making.
You've got your video. You've got your table video. I better not mention that because every time we do this, they want you to do more. He says he'll never do it again. I've asked and asked and asked. He was going to do a Christmas one. He had a mould ready, but it never got off the ground because we were really busy. Now, all I'm using is part of this.
Maybe next Christmas.
Yeah, you get your mould ready and start making it now, Martin.
Yeah.
So I'm ignoring that part down there, but you could come along and do that part there a different colour if you wanted. I just want to join this all up with this shape here. If you think you're going to make a mess, now this is the look that it doesn't really matter, to be honest with you. But if you think I want it a little bit more crisp, just tape off that zigzaggy line. I'm putting this along here like this. I forgot on the other side, just went, and then I went, oh, that wasn't how it was supposed to be. You get into the zone when you're stenciling. Well, I'll clearly look at the top. Just fit that little bit in here, I think. Now, what else did I do? I took this shape here, and in between,
which shape?
Just the
yep,
diamondy shape, and I popped it in the middle of the blue half stars, and I've done that on every single leg because in a minute you will actually get to see that it's actually all the legs have been done. This one here's been done, so you're just bringing it right down last one down. But I did try and clean my hands before I started the video, but it's the chalk paint stuck to my nail varnish. It's a very nice look. Look, attractive.
Lovely.
Yep. Right, so that's that done. So this side is now the same as the other side. Now let me just twirl it round to the front. Now, by the way, I haven't done the very bottom feet. These are going to be gold. So same legs, same pink stencil and the paprika in between the blue. It's all done. We know that I had that stencil here. And again, this is why I'm saying to you, when they were designed, I designed them so they all fitted together. So now you can just come along and add accents with your stencil on top of your stenciling. So, and at the end we'll put a gold centre in the middle of that, I think. Like that. Now I'm not happy with this line, so let's see if I can...
That's the middle one. Oh, that's got the hole there.
That's the hole, Martin.
That's the hole.
That's the hole. Easy tiger. I'm wondering if I put this up on top here now. This is the part where you really could maybe, if I had any, I keep old masking tape, I might be able to get a bit out of this.
Okay, any bit.
It's okay. I just want enough to kind of reasonably keep myself on the straight and narrow. There you go. Just enough. Just I need to remember as well. It's not even straight, but and at this point in time, you can be quite, you can be quite messy now because you're getting into the design. Right, okay. So I need to do something for around here. What can I do? I don't want it too straight and I don't want it too starry. Let's have a look at what I've got here. What about... Yep. I am thinking I'm going to use this shape over here and here when I get to it, and that's going to be on the top. I've got the other star here, but it's very samey. I really think this should be something in... why did I just not turn that around? Let's have a look. This will be nice. So again, I think I'll use the paprika. Load up your brush. Now using a smaller stencil brush for this. It's very subtle when it goes on top of the same sort of colour hue because it's going on to orange here. It's quite subtle, but that's okay because we know it's there, and when people look at it close up, they'll see it's there. Is it picking it up on camera, Martin?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm going to have to do this here. And twirl my fingers around. Now, let's just take that up down this side as well. I'm just going to let it, I'm just going to use my step, because I've got that dip in where my drawer is, I'm just going to let it fade off when it comes to near the drawers. So I'm just going to do something like that. And same over here. Sorry, Matty, jumping around.
All right.
And just let it fade off into there. And am I going to be able to get it up in here? Probably. Really, you just want to have as many shapes. It's a little bit, where I let it run off, it's a little bit thick there. A bit kind of like there's bleed through, but I'm just leaving that because that'll all work with what I'm wanting to achieve. Right, okay. So we're all at the same stage now by using this stencil for the back, the diamondy shape here for the centers, the top of this stencil here for there, and this part here for there. And this was simply done with half the star, well, not even half, just the point of the star and that diamond here. So I have done so far all of this with this. Now, let's talk about the top, because now we need to start thinking about, I am going to add the blue. I think the blue is going to be the answer to the whole table. I thought of adding a pink. Maybe I'll add both. Oh, see, here we go. I always say when
gold.
Gold's all coming. It's all coming.
Right.
Don't worry. And I'm going to use, I've decided I'm going to use gold leaf. I'm just gonna go for it, I think. Make it extra sparkly. Right, so we've done all this on the top. The first thing I probably would be tempted to do, because it does look quite thick, is maybe, now this could be quite noisy. Let's give it a little stand. And give it a wipe with this cloth here. Right. Ooh. Now, we are going to have to go back to our original mix mat here. Yeah. So, what did we originally use? So I want to put a little bit of Barcelona orange there, and a little bit of primer red, a little bit of yellow, just a little bit, and a bit of cornflower. And we're going to do something similar to the process that we have already done. But we're going to try and keep a sort of some of the pattern. So let's just kind of, now I'm looking for a sort of square here. So that I can keep it in a sort of square pattern. If you think like Moroccan tiles, you want it kind of square. So I'm going to put my orange on first just to kind of give me an idea. It doesn't have to be like a perfect square. In fact, it probably look better if it's not. But by doing this, we're fading the back. I think I've got enough orange on that. I'm just using the same roller for all of it. Oh, I didn't mean that to be so red. Try that again. Now, dipping in the yellow. Work in the colours, and then I'm going to finish with some brown and the red and the yellow together on my roller. A bit more orange. I think how to get myself a faded area. You can see I'm using my roller both ways. I mean, sometimes I like it to make the form the shape I'm doing, and then other times no. I'm quite happy with that. If you're feeling fruity, you can always do something like this. But, I mean, I don't think it needs it. Let's try and put a wee bit of yellow around this edge. Right, okay. Now, we need to let that dry off a bit before we can start putting our detail on the top. So let's go back down to the front, because it should be this part here is dry enough to work on. Oh, that was exhausting. Now, I can't quite make up my mind. This shape is traditional, so really I want to have it in there. So let's, if I put that one on that edge and that one on that edge, I'll
think cut a bit off the top of the plastic of the stencil.
I don't need to.
Give you a bit more room.
I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm absolutely fine, baby. I've got it all under control.
I'll be quiet.
No, don't you dare. You're fine, but it's just I don't need to cut it. Now, Provence. I'm still unsure about the.
It's going to be awesome.
I think I wanted some capri pink, so right. I think what this will do is, normally I would get darker, but this time I'm getting lighter because I want a shape that's going to pop. Now maybe this is a completely wrong colour, and if it is, we'll just go over it with something else. But let's have a wee look. Oh, right. No, be sensible. Line that edge up with that edge there, and then you know you've got them coming in. Round and round we go. Let's get into the edges just now. Right, now I'm just going to be bold and make it work.
That's right.
I'm doing it, Martin. Stop.
Sorry.
I'm huffing at you now.
You are.
I don't want you to keep interfering. If you interfere anymore, I'm going to
beat me with a large stick.
I'm going to beat you with a stick. Just a little one.
Just a little stick.
I think if Martin interferes any more in this project today than next week's video, Martin should do it. What do you think?
Well, you know what's going to happen now, don't you?
Yeah. Right, okay.
Nothing.
I'm going to tidy. Well, no, you can get what. Let me just. See, this is where I get a little bit experimental and I go. That's going to bring out quite a nice detail in here. So. And that's just the stencil brush on its side, and I'm just dry brushing it. Now, okay, so I've done that, and there's going to be gold in amongst this, but I'm still hankering somewhere for some paprika. I mean, not paprika, capri pink. I'm thinking there's a star there that I might like, or is this shape? Oh, decisions. Oh, I think that's the one. I'm just going to stop the camera a minute while I quickly dry this off so I can put the pink in. I dried it off a minute, and Martin and I had a wee cuddle because I told him later on I'm going to, when he's editing, I'm going to stand over him, and then I went, nah, I'm not really, because you're a stinky man.
Stinky man, boy.
I'll have things I want to do. I've got into dressmaking now. Yet another thing. You can tell I've got, you know, things I want to do. I don't know, this could either kill it or cure it. I'm a bit scared it might kill it. If it does, we'll just have to patch this whole part in. But I think the only way you know is by bravery. So, and I'm always telling you to be brave. So, you know, lock in. What are we thinking? I think it needs to be a little bit, I think maybe it might have looked better if I put some primer red in it and just dull it. Oh, no, it's actually dulling, isn't it? It's just because it was wet. Let's have it just on camera. Let's quickly dry this and see if it... Oh, no, it is actually coming together, is it? Oh, I can't tell. Let's just add a little bit of primer red in this capri pink just to see what happens. Let's just mix these up. See if I can just take some of that. Yeah, I think that might be... Oh, that's definitely more what we're looking for. Right, hang on a minute. It's more of a raspy now. Here's my brush. Now I just need to get all that darker colour into my bristles, and we can compare and contrast beside this one here. Oh, I did the dot in that one. I didn't do the dot in the other one, but I'm going to have to go back over the other one anyway. Sometimes, you know, you just have to try it. Oh gosh, it looks the same colour, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. A little bit darker.
I think it's because there's no more pink. Right, do you know what? I'm just going to be bold and go for it. I think it's because there's no more pink in the design right now that's making it look a little bit weird. I need to come back and do the 2 dots because I didn't do the dots in the other one. Yeah, let's just hope that once I get a little bit more pink on. How will I put the pink on? Well, I think I'll put it on with a palette knife. Let's see. Here we go. This is how my furniture takes so long, because I now find different things that I can do to it along the way. Remember me to put those spots up there, Martin, although you can't really tell they're there or not, but I know they're there. Yeah, I think that works, doesn't it? Does it? You're not saying anything. Are you scared to say anything now?
Are you going to now go around the whole piece putting in that pink?
I'm going to have to, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. But I wanted a bit more of a brightness to it, and if I have to do this to get it to work, well, so be it. That's a word to the wise of colours, guys, just so you know. If you do a part, right, and you think, I like it, but it stands out like a sore thumb. If you can adjust your design, just go ahead and do it. You've got my full permission.
Mine too.
Yeah, you've got our permission. Made by Marley, both of us. Right. Yes, I'm thinking this is quite good, but I haven't got a palette knife to hand, but I do have this little clear knife. So let's have a see. I'll put some of this raspberry down along this edge, because I think you'll find that suddenly it does start coming together when it's got that's nice, isn't it, Mary? Some in here. Just an occasional work down the leg, just to make it work, because we haven't really got much of that on anywhere. So yeah, I'm liking that. And there. Oh, I don't want those. That's because I'm using a clay tool. That's it. Right. Oh, I'm liking. Now, I need to dry this and try and put some elements of blue on this now. So let me just dry this bit quickly and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I've found the appropriate tool for the job. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what I've just done with the pink and bring in some of this blue down here. You don't need a lot of it, just a wee bit of a dribble. More than that, obviously. And the palette knife gives it really nice texture. It's like using your rollers. Just little bits. Now, I'm going to see what... I'm going to be quite bold here. I should have kind of started the day with a paintbrush. That might have actually helped. I've got this brush here. I just want to see what this room looks like blue. But I want it kind of distressed, so maybe not paint all of it in. So messy painting. Do I want it distressed or do I want it? Oh, decisions. I don't want it full. I want it kind of half and half. Yeah. Not quite fully distressed with loads of gaps, but not quite. Oh, I didn't mean to go up on the edge. I have it in mind. There. That has made that really pretty. I thought that might happen. I think we will make the feet down here blue now. So you've got an idea of how that's going to look, because I was just wondering what colour I was going to do the feet. So the feet are going to be blue, the round there is going to be blue, and where I've put that raspberry, let's just now put a little bit of, oh, that's a little bit contrived. There. In here. Remember, do all these bits of your furniture. You don't need to distress them, they just need to be the navy, but they have to be painted in case it goes upside down. Right, okay. Now, that's pretty much what kind of stuff that's going to be happening now on the two sides. So I'm going to use, I'll just flip it and so that you know, and then I'll go away and do all that, because I've now got the raspberry to put in between all of the legs, which, you know, it's just life, isn't it? Right. I said to Matt in the beginning, it'll be great, this little table will be easy to manoeuvre, but it's actually not. Right, let's go back to this again. Just check the right way. I'm just going to try and line this up with here, because you can see through the stencil enough to know that's pretty good. And again, where did I do the brush? What did I do? Oh, here it is. Oh no, it's got pink on it. I have to use this one instead. And whatever I can, you just saw me do on the front, I'm just going to kind of nod to that on the sides, and put in my raspberry, put in my blue, and finish my my top border and my little feet, so that when I come back, we'll just be working on the top. I always think it's good to kind of leave the tops to the end, but don't leave them, don't go away, and because then if you leave this look for any length of time, you can't really remember what you used or how your techniques you were doing and how you kind of flip things. So, you know, keep it all within a few days, because if it's like me and I have to go back to it after about 2 weeks, I've forgotten. It takes me ages to get back into the vibe. Right, okay. I feel like there's a little bit of bleed through on that. I think it's just my brush is a little bit. That one's better than that one, but who cares, because there's going to be stuff over the top of it in a minute. Right, I'm going to get on, do all my pink raspberry bits and my bits and bobs and everything, and make it all, get it all finished up on the bottom half, because then we're going to do the top, and then we're going to think about, I still haven't made my mind up whether I'm going to be using gold paint or gold leaf. I think probably gold paint, because I want to go in and out some of these shapes, and it'll be a little bit tricky. Well, not won't be any trickier, but I think I'm going to do the gold paint. Right, okay, back shortly. Okay, I didn't film this part because you've just seen me do it everywhere else. It's that same shape, and then I just randomly put the stars in it. And at the moment, all I'm doing is putting this pink shape in the centre of these all the way around. Now, the top looks quite boring at the moment, but it's going to have quite a bit of gold on it, so I'm just kind of holding off just now, but it's just so you know what's happening. So I'm going to go on and do these shapes around here in a minute. Now, back onto solid ground. I just move that mat before you trip. Now, when you've done a look like this, you don't worry about the legs, but your feature points are your sides, your front drawer, and your top. Yeah? So now we need to make those parts sing. Now, I've got all my, I don't really have to work very hard to do this because I've already got it all in a stencil. So I'm going to use, I'm trying to think whether I want a really thin line or a thick one. I'm going to line this. This is optional before I start putting the gold on. So I want to come back with the blue and just accentuate these shapes. It just is another little step that will pull it together nicely. And like that. Now, I also did a little faux pas off camera. I did the other side, but I did a different pattern on that side than the other side. I think that's quite acceptable as far as I'm concerned, but you'll see it at the end. My daughter came in to talk to me. It only takes that much to send me off on a tangent, and I went off on a tangent. Then she said, "You've gone awful quiet." I went, "Yeah, because I've just made a mistake." Right, so I'm going to do that. I think is probably enough for that, because now I'm going to mix up some gold. So I've got a paper plate here. Just put my line of brushes there. I'm just going to add some gold mica. I'm going to need quite a lot of gold, so I'm not going to spare the horses here. See if we can get the lid back on that. And I've got some Liquitex. If I can get it open. It's just an acrylic medium. You can use your top coat sealer. And I want us a decent brush to mix this together. We'll use this. And then you just mix it to your consistency that you want. If you want it really runny, then put more Liquitex in it. If you want it, and you can, this is water-based as well. You can add water to it if you want to thin it out and things as you're painting with it. But why did I decide to mix it on a paper plate? That's just weird. But I've done it now. It's going everywhere, far and wide. Right, there we go. I know, I'll soon have a whole plate of gold.
Yeah, bigger, bigger, bigger.
Now, Martin. That's a lot of gold, Matty, isn't it? Put that in my water. Okay, I want a brush for my gold. I'm going to use this bad boy here. Now, I am going to start adding a whole heap of gold to my design. You don't need to do it this way. You can pick the outs external. In fact, I'm going to go for both because I can. I'm just going to go along here with the gold as well. Just to give it some extra bouginess. Oops, I didn't mean to go so high there. I'm not using a liner brush at this stage. I'm just using a little paintbrush. And let's just get in there. I used a liner for there before, but no, I didn't. Did I use this one? I don't know if I swap brushes now or not. No, that's the gold on there. Now I want to stick my finger in it and put some gold on top of that turquoise. That'll really make it a bit blingy. Now, all of the next stage is really up to you. I mean, I just think you should just go mad with the gold, if I'm honest, but...
So do I.
Yeah.
Bring it up.
Bring it up. Now, I also want to put gold in here in the circle. I was looking for my pencil, you know, the rubber eraser on the end that I could make the circles with, but I can't find it. I've actually only got one. That's weird, isn't it?
I'll find it for you.
Yeah, I went looking, but now I'm going to dip my palette knife in, and I'm also going to do some bougie gold along here. Got loads of texture on it, so it's you know, it's going to make a nice, it's going to put a nice lot of texture on it. I'm just going to lightly touch the legs. I don't think I need a load of it on, but right. I feel like, is there enough gold on that? Yeah, any parts where they've got quite a lot of distress, let's just put some gold on that. That's that. And the same thing's going to pretty much happen. Here we go again with turning this tape around. Each time it's got more and more awkward as I've gone. Right. You'll see the other side's got 3 of these shape on it. I don't know why. Just that's what happened. So when you leave me a comment, I'm aware of it. Sometimes people comment and say you forgot a dot, which always makes me giggle. Because somebody said recently, I don't know if you're bothered or not, but you missed something. And I was like, no, it won't surprise you to know I'm not bothered at all. But she took the time to write me, so I've appreciated her telling me. Right. I'm going to put more gold. I mean, really, at this stage, you're following the shape of your stencil, so you can just do whatever you want. I just think it's going to give it a little bit of a lift. I made that bit up there, could you see? I'm also going to put the navy blue around this as well. I think maybe at this stage I should be using a liner brush. This is a little bit thick, but I did want it kind of in your face. I'm going to do some spots on top of there. Oh gosh, now I'm going crazy. This is it, see? I'm going to use my finger down the bottom here. I've got enough gold, it's not like I'm short of it. And a whole plate full. I don't know about the top. I don't know whether I might do something like jury's out on this. No, I quite like it. It's because of my finger, it's printing thick and thin, the way that I'm rolling it. So, you know, that's always a way to kind of get a fancy fluted edge. I have done this. I think I've done this on camera. Have I done this on camera before? Probably.
I don't recall seeing you this technique, no.
But I have done it on furniture, so maybe I just kept it under wraps. Right. And I'll get to that side in a minute. But you can see it's starting to take shape. The top, let's just talk. I'm going to have to turn it around again. Oh, right, let's talk about the top. So, well, first of all, I'll continue this edge. No, I won't, because then I'll be leaning on it, won't I? And I will lean on it. We know I will. It's a given. So I won't do any more of that just now. Right, let's get up onto our knees. I think this is where the majority of the gold's really going to go, up on the top. So I'm going to definitely 100% have gold spots in these shapes. Oops, sorry, Martin.
So I'm just kind of at an angle where I can see you.
The furniture's got so much texture. I haven't finished those yet, so I can't do any more with those. Right, I'm going to have to switch my brush now to a liner. So I want to have, and these are going to go around, I'm going to go around these shapes as well in navy. You see the difference when you use a liner, it's always nice and tidy. But I kind of wanted it a bit thicker on the top, on the side, so. I think it's how long is a piece of string for the gold, really. You just keep going until you've got it out your system.
Covered the whole world
until you've got it out your system. And that could be quite quickly, or in my respect, I could still be out here at midnight, because I enjoy doing these parts, but you know, it depends on yourself. I want to do the center line just like I did on the front in here too. And I really want to have. Now, if you don't feel comfortable doing this, you can use a gold Posca. It's just not as bright. Let me show you. See? So, I mean, if you're stuck and in a pinch, gold Poscas are just the way to go. Maybe I might do the dots with the gold Posca, because then I've got more control. So, I'm going to get on now, because really, to be honest with you, you're not seeing anything different. I'm just going to keep going until I've got something really different to show you. I might not. I mean, I think I'm getting to the stage where we're kind of getting to the finish line. How am I going to seal this today? I've already made up my mind. This is going to be sealed with wax today, because I want to bring out all those fabulous colours that I've got everywhere. So that's going to happen in that. Now I'm wondering about, I just don't want to lean on the work I've already done. I'm just going to go around all of these as well, but I am going to go around all of these in navy. So I'll do one with this gold, and then I'll show you. This is going to take a wee bit of time. And then I'm going to go around here as well. This is where I decide to give myself so much more work. Whoops. Now, navy. Let's just see. Where did my navy brush go? Helps if I have some paint on the brush. like that. And right, I think you get the, whoops, that one on. I think you get the picture, eh, Matt? And
Yeah.
I'm just going to be spending quite a lot of time.
Yeah, so
just
we're back in about 4 hours.
Yeah, this is not, this part, I knew I wanted the top really kind of different and fancy. So this, this isn't something that you can rush through really quickly, I don't think. You have to kind of, the quickest part in this is putting your roller paint on at the beginning. Right. I'm going to get on and do this now because there's no point watching me do this for ages. Okay, see you soon. Okay, so the table's finished. There's a lot of detail to this, but as you can see, as I do the piece, it's about layering. I'm always talking about the same thing, giving interest by adding different types of stencils, turning your stencils, using your stencils a different way. This pack of Made by Marley Stencils is complicated. It's complex. It's not your normal stencil. You're going to get more definition. You've got to treat it carefully, and it'll do you good. It will enable you to put more detail into your stenciling work. Was this difficult to do? No, it wasn't. Is it lovely? Yeah, it is. It was £5. I mean, what do you want for £5? I'm really quite pleased with it. And if you're looking at this lovely bougie lampshade here, this Indian style lampshade, if you've ever been on our website, you'll see there's a page that says courses coming soon. This may be one of the courses. So I've been Lael from Made by Marley. I've got the lovely Martin here. Martin, do you have anything to add today?
Not on this occasion, no.
He doesn't. He obviously doesn't like it.
I do like it, but I say the same thing about everything, don't I?
Yes, I know.
So I'm being reserved.
Oh, well, that's nice that you're being reserved, Martin. So if you've liked this, give us a like, give us a share, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to leave us a comment. And if you really want to follow on and see more things that I do up that in a furniture art type fashion, then please don't forget to subscribe. We will see you next Sunday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.